Teachers of Reddit. What's your most NSFW story from your workplace? I subbed at a school once where we had a special ed kid who would not stop pooping in the stairwell. They had teachers escorting him from one class to another. He was theoretically supervised at all times. And yet every week or two he managed to slip away long enough to drop a deuce in the stairwell. I still pity that poor janitor. I worked at a middle school where a kid got a citation for pooping. The phantom pooper was dropping bombs in the bathroom sinks, behind the gym bleachers, etc. Places that were clearly intended to cause shock on discovery, or be hidden and cause a stink. They knew it wasn't one of the special ed kids because they were pretty well under control and had tutors/budders who escorted them everywhere when they went to mainstream classes. Pooping in public past a certain age can be a sign of major psychopath or whatever. After a few weeks they caught the phantom pooper, called him to the front office, brought his parents in too. He was suspended. Cops came and gave the kid a citation to show up in court. He was apparently in tears, shaking, crying, etc. Public urination law also covers defecation. The first day subbing in a new school, I was walking along the corridor to my first class when I nearly stood in a huge log just in front of some double doors. I didn't have the time to do anything about it, so I just opened the door that wasn't obstructed and continued on to the classroom, trusting a permanent member of staff would get it dealt with. An hour later I headed up that corridor lesson change and there was a glorious shit rainbow smeared on the floor with dozens of different shitty footprints radiating from it. This set the tone for a shitty week in a shitty school. I'm a paramedic, not a teacher. But we ran a call at a high school one day for a girl that was feeling sick. After questioning her for a while trying to figure out what was going on, things just weren't making sense. We get her in the back of the ambulance away from parents and teachers and she finally opens up. Apparently she recently started giving her boyfriend oral sex and he wanted to finish in her mouth. But semen really grossed her out, so in order to get her over her phobia the boyfriend thought a little exposure therapy would do the trick. He provided her with a Ziploc bag full of semen so she could ingest it all throughout the day. She only made it about 10 AM before becoming violently ill. Poor girl. I felt so bad. What the fuck? Here babe, take my bag of cum, it will make it easier. Okay. Is anyone else wondering how long it took for this kid to accumulate an entire bag of cum? Was it just sitting in his nightstand for a week? I feel confident in thinking that he didn't take the time to refrigerate it before encouraging his girlfriend to fucking drink it all. In high school, we had a beloved teacher and I am still friends with him to this day. However, he viewed taking attendance as a big waste of time and his class was enjoyable so kids rarely skipped it. So he'd just give the class a once over and try to notice if anyone was missing. And sometimes kids would yell out that a kid was sick. Well, on this particular day, he marked everyone as present, including a kid that was not in class, as he was busy murdering his uncle. So the teacher had to go to court and say on the record that no, he is not providing an alibi for the student. He's just terrible at attendance. The administration really got on his ass about attendance after that. And he was good about it for a few years, and then he went back to his old way saying, "It's very unlikely I'll have another murder during my class." I watch a lot of true crime stuff and my first thought halfway through your story was what if a kid goes missing? Then it took a more gruesome turn, lol. It's actually very likely that a murder will take place during his class, but less likely that it would be by one of the students in his class. What do you mean? Basically murders take place constantly. So no one probably will take place during his class, but it's not related anyhow to the class. Oh. R/whoosh. I just got murdered. Caught 2 students having sex on top of a slide on the playground after school. It was one of these slides with the covered waiting area at the top. Her face was sticking out of the front of it and his ass and feet were sticking out of the back. She saw us, another teacher and I first, and started screaming that she was stuck on the slide. He freaked out, banged his head on the inside and essentially tumbled back down the steps while trying to get his pants up. They were 5th graders, by the way. I've told this story several times, but here goes. I was an occasional substitute teacher in the town where I went to college. The band director often requested me to come teach if she was out sick. Since I was a music major and could work with the kids on their parts, get in for a day and my instructions were to break the kids up by section and have them practice their parts. I spent the next hour listening to a miasma of sounds from woodwinds, brass, strings, etc. But no drumming. If you don't know any drummers, they are always playing or banging on their laps, tables, steering wheels, etc. Curious me goes to investigate the drum room. And I walked in on the token female drummer flashing her breasts to the boys in exchange for money. I will take this a different direction. My first week of teaching had its ups and downs. I was teaching a PE class and had a new kindergarten class for the first time. A few minutes into class, a little 5-year-old boy raises his hand. I have a problem. My PP is really hard right now and I don't know what to do. Holding in every ounce of laughter I had, I told him I was sorry and that we would talk about his problem in a few minutes. Not long after he raises his hand again. Yes Caleb. Don't worry. It's not a problem anymore. He tells me with the biggest smile on his face. Gotta love teaching elementary. This kinda isn't my story, but it's still good. And NSFW, one time a kid was doing his visiting days at the school. We were a private school with kind of a history of admitting misfits. And during art class was seen by another kid masturbating under the table to completion, then wiping his ejaculate on his t-shirt. When the head of the middle school told his mom about it afterwards, she said, "Oh yeah, that's something he does when he's nervous." Needless to say, it was a hard pass from the admissions office. This girl took pictures of her dog eating peanut butter off of her vagina and then sent it to her boyfriend. He proceeded to share it with the whole school and then the teachers found out. A buddy of mine is a teacher in Kentucky and tells this story proudly. A couple of years ago the senior class was doing their walkthrough for graduation. Usually after the walkthrough the seniors are allowed to go home early. Well, a guy and girl decided to skip the walkthrough so that they could go out to their car and fuck. Presumably while in the backseat they tried to do anal and it led to the girl shitting all over the guy's car. By the time the walkthrough had finished, the seniors were headed out to their cars and the entire graduating class walked out to the guy and girl trying to hurriedly get dressed and clean up shit from the back of the car. My friend often jokes about what a shitty situation that was. Had a student run up to me and say that someone had been stabbed in the girl's room. Turns out that a 5th grader had started their period. She later got the talk when she went home. Similar shit happened to me, but in 4th grade. Had no idea what a period was, and just started walking around all day thinking the blood seeping through my white jean shorts meant I was going to die. Everyone saw it. Nobody said anything. Not even the teachers. And it was St. Patrick's Day. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more Reddit After Dark. Have a good night.